I was 16 years old when my parents told me to pack my bags and leave their house. No warning, no proof, no second chance. Years later, those same people dragged me to court to take the house I bought with my own money. So now people ask me one question. AITA for defending myself when my family tried to steal my house after kicking me out? My name is Ethan. I'm 34 years old now, and I work in industrial equipment sales. I haven't spoken to my parents or my sister in months. And after everything that happened, I probably never will again. A few months ago, I won a lawsuit against them. A lawsuit that never should have existed. My own family tried to use the law to take my house. The house I worked for. The house I paid for. The house I built my life in. To understand how things got this bad, I need to go back. Way back. Back to my childhood. Back to the moment. My parents decided who mattered in our family. And who didn't. I grew up with an older sister named Lily. She was 2 years older than me. From the outside, we looked like a normal family. 2 kids, 2 parents, a decent home. But inside that house, there were rules. Unspoken rules. Lily was the golden child. I was the problem. No matter what happened, it was always my fault. If a glass broke in the kitchen, my mom would sigh and say my name like she was tired of it already. If money went missing from her purse, my dad would look straight at me. If Lily got a bad grade, they said I distracted her or didn't help enough. It didn't matter if I was even there. I learned very early that defending myself didn't work. So most of the time, I stayed quiet. One memory still sticks with me. I was about 12 years old. I was sitting in the living room watching TV when I heard yelling upstairs. My mom rushed into Lily's bedroom. Lily had drawn all over her walls with a permanent marker. Big lines, words, total mess. My mom stormed back downstairs furious. Before I could even speak, Lily said, "He did it." She said I snuck into her room while she was out. I didn't even try to argue. I already knew how this would end. I was grounded for 2 weeks, and my parents made me use my allowance for an entire month to pay for repainting the walls. Lily didn't get punished at all. That wasn't a one-time thing. That was my life. My parents lived in a bubble where Lily could do no wrong. She had the biggest bedroom, new clothes, the newest phone. I got what was necessary, nothing more. If I wanted anything extra, I had to earn it. So at 13, I started mowing lawns around the neighborhood. Not because I wanted spending money, but because I didn't want to ask my parents for anything. Even then, I think I knew. I couldn't rely on them. Everything finally broke when I was 16. Lily was 18 by then. She had her driver's license. My dad owned a car he loved more than anything. A dark blue Mustang. He cleaned it every weekend, polished it, talked about it like it was family. One Saturday afternoon, I was at my friend Jason's house. We were studying for a math exam. Lily took the Mustang without permission to go to a party. She drove too fast, lost control, and crashed straight into a pole. The car was destroyed. She called my dad from the hospital crying. She was mostly fine, just bruises. The car wasn't. I got home around 11 that night. The house felt wrong, too quiet. My parents were sitting in the living room. Their faces were tight and angry. Before I could even ask what happened, my dad stood up and started yelling. He accused me of stealing his car, of wrecking it, of lying. I was shocked. I told him I hadn't touched the car, that I was at Jason's house all day, that Jason's parents could confirm it. He didn't care. My mom just stared at me like she was disappointed. The same look she'd given me my whole life. Lily stayed upstairs. When I asked why she wasn't coming down to tell the truth, my dad said she already had. According to her, I took the car. And now I was trying to blame her. It felt unreal, like a bad dream. I begged them to call Jason, to check my phone. Anything. My dad didn't listen. He told me I had 3 days to pack my things, that I was no longer welcome in his house. He said if I was going to be reckless and dishonest, I couldn't live under his roof. I just stood there, frozen. My mom finally spoke. She suggested I go live with my grandmother. like she was doing me a favor. I was 16 years old, and my parents were kicking me out for something I didn't do. That night, I called my grandmother and cried harder than I ever had before. She believed me. No questions, no doubts. She told me to pack my bags and come to her, that her door was always open. Those 3 days felt endless. My parents barely spoke to me. Lily never came out of her room. I packed my clothes, my school books. Everything I owned fit into a few bags. My grandmother picked me up in her old car. As we drove away, I looked back at the house I grew up in. I didn't cry. I just felt empty, like something inside me had broken. Living with my grandmother changed my life. She was kind, patient, warm. She enrolled me in a new school, helped me find a part-time job at a grocery store. She asked me how my day was, cooked meals with me, listened. Things that felt normal to other people felt new to me. For the first time, I felt safe. Meanwhile, my parents kept supporting Lily. I graduated high school while living with my grandmother. When it was time for college, I didn't even think about asking my parents for help. I enrolled in community college and worked full-time in a warehouse. It was hard. I was tired all the time. But my grandmother believed in me every single day. Lily went to an expensive private college. My parents paid for everything: tuition, housing, a new car. They even paid for a long trip overseas for her. I later found out she was failing most of her classes. My parents called me maybe twice a year. Sometimes they forgot my birthday. I talked to my grandmother every day. She was my real family. After college, my life stayed simple. No drama, no shortcuts. I focused on work. I got a job in industrial equipment sales. It wasn't exciting, but if you worked hard, you could earn good money. So I worked hard. I stayed living with my grandmother, not because I had to, because I wanted to. She was getting older, and I wanted to be there for her. I saved every dollar I could. While other people my age were traveling, going out, or upgrading car, I didn't. I drove the same old car for years. I skipped vacations. I skipped parties. I had one goal. I wanted my own house, something that was mine, something no one could ever take away from me. I stayed in that job for years. Slowly, my savings grew. I barely heard from my parents during that time, maybe a short call once or twice a year. They always talked about Lily, how she was finding herself, how things were hard for her. I didn't ask questions. I didn't care. When I was 33, it finally happened. I had enough money for a down payment. I found a 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but clean, safe, peaceful. The price was high, but my credit was solid and my job was stable. The bank approved everything. The day I signed the papers, I sat in my car afterward and just breathed. I did it on my own. There's one detail that matters later. When I bought the house, I added my grandmother's name to the deed, not because she paid anything. She didn't. The loan was only in my name. Every payment came from my bank account. I added her name because she saved me when no one else did. It was my way of saying thank you. She cried when I told her. She said I didn't have to, but I wanted to. Around that same time, things were falling apart for Lily. I heard through relatives that she was missing payments on her house, drowning in credit card debt. A few months later, it was worse. The bank started foreclosure on her house. My parents panicked. They drained their retirement savings to save her. After that, they had almost nothing left. I didn't feel bad. They gave her everything. She burned it all. I built my life from nothing. My grandmother moved into the new house with me. I set up a bedroom just for her. We spent evenings watching old movies, talking, laughing. She was in her mid-80s by then. Her health was fading. I took her to doctor visits, cooked for her, made sure she was never alone. For the first time in my life, I felt at peace. Then my parents called. My mom said they needed to talk. They came over the next day. The moment they walked in, I knew they wanted something. They looked around my house quietly. Finally, my dad spoke. He said they were struggling, that helping Lily had wiped them out. Then he asked if they could move in with me. Just like that. The people who kicked me out at 16 were asking to live in my house. I said no, calmly, firmly. My dad exploded. He said I was ungrateful, that I owed them. My mom talked about family, about sticking together. I asked one question. Where was that family when I was 16? They left angry. My grandmother hugged me and said I did the right thing. 3 months later, my grandmother passed away. I was holding her hand. It was quiet, peaceful. She was my real parent. After the funeral, I thought the worst was over. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, I was served legal papers. My parents were suing me. They claimed half the house belonged to my grandmother's estate. And since my father was her only son, they said that half was theirs. They wanted me to sell the house or pay them over $160,000. I felt sick. They weren't asking anymore. They were taking. I hired a lawyer. I showed her everything. Bank records, mortgage papers, payment history. We went to mediation first. They showed up with Lily. I refused to give them a single dollar, so we went to court. The trial was brutal. I told my story. Relatives testified. My lawyer explained everything clearly. The judge listened. Days later, the decision came. The house was mine, 100%. The lawsuit was dismissed. I paid my legal fees, about $8,000, worth every cent. I blocked my parents and my sister. I hear they live together now. They tell people I abandoned them. I don't care. I lost my family years ago. Now I live in my house. I work, I heal, and I know one thing for sure. I did the right thing. So, AITA, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's survival. If you want more stories like this, support the channel. And remember, family is who stands by you, not who tries to take everything from you.